Today we're looking at the multiplication and division of fractions, and we'll begin with multiplication. So multiplication of fractions is fairly simple if you carefully follow the steps. So do all your working out, show your steps line by line, one step at a time, and you won't go wrong. So the very first step when we're looking at the multiplication of fractions is simply to write out the question. So we write out the question in our exercise books. So first step, write the question. Just copy it from your textbook to your exercise book. So second step is if we've got any mixed numbers, we want to convert those to improper fractions. So change mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, because a lot easier to work with improper fractions when we're multiplying rather than dealing with the integer part and the fraction part. Okay, third step, and this is included as in the previous step in your textbook, but I consider it a separate step, and that is to cancel if possible. So what that means is you look at your fractions and look at the denominators and numerators in each pair of fractions, and you cancel them out or simplify if you can. So cancel if possible. So you want to make a simpler fraction. Okay, and we'll see as an example of that shortly, because that one maybe seemed a bit vague at the moment. So the fourth step is to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So if you've got two fractions, both with numerators and denominators, you times those together. So multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. Okay, and we'll see an example of all these steps shortly. Okay, final step is to simplify and change to a mixed number if appropriate. So final step. So we don't want to leave something like 5 over 4. We want to change 5 over 4 to 1 1/4. This is a lot easier to read. So change to mixed number and simplify if appropriate. And in many cases you may not need to do that. That's why we say if appropriate. Okay, so your textbook has this as 4 steps, but it's really 5 because the textbook has 2 and 3 together. But really that 3 is a separate step that comes after changing mixed numbers to improper fractions. Okay, let's look at an example of all these steps. So what I'll do, I'll erase the rule as we're going along. So the first step says to write the question. So you just copy the question from your textbook, and I'm copying a question from the textbook right now. And this one's from page 77. So our equation is 2 1/4 times 1 5/7. Our second rule, or second step in the process, says to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I'll just erase that one so we've got more room. So we're changing mixed numbers to improper fractions. So we've got two mixed numbers here, integer and fraction parts. So we'll have 9 over 4, because 2 times 4 is 9, plus 1, times 1 times 7 plus 5 is 12. Okay, so we're at 12 over 7. So we've converted mixed numbers to improper fractions, and now we're looking to cancel or simplify our fractions if possible. And the way we do that, we look at the numerators and the denominators. We look at the denominator of our first fraction, 4, and then we look at the numerator of the second fraction. So we've got 4 and 12. We can actually simplify that. So instead of 4, we can have 1 there. So we'll just cross out 4, put a 1 there, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. So cross out 12 and 3. Now then we've got 9 and 7. We can't simplify those. So we'll just leave them as is. So I'll just erase this third step, which we've just done. So our fourth step says multiply the numerators and then the denominators. Okay, so we'll do that just below. Equal signs lined up. So 9 times 3 is 27 over 1 times 7, which is simply 7. So that's our fourth step. We can erase that one now. So our fifth step says change to a mixed number and simplify if appropriate. So we can convert this improper fraction, 27 over 7, to a mixed number. So we'll do that now. So that will be 3 times 7 is 21, and then we're left with 6 over 7. Okay, so that covered our last rule. So if you follow these steps one at a time very carefully, you won't go wrong.